All right, so we just looked at the express powers, which again are the powers that are written down in like this text, which is Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and they're powers that are specifically given to the national government. So now we're going to look at the powers that are supposed to belong to the state governments. So it's a little bit different. The powers written down in Article 1, Section 8 were supposed to be the only powers the national government can have. The national government can only do the express powers. The 10th Amendment, which is the last amendment found in the Bill of Rights, basically says that if the power is not written down here in the Constitution, in Article 1, Section 8, if it's not expressed, then that all the other powers that are not listed automatically are like belonging or are reserved to the states. So really anything not listed here was automatically assumed that it belongs to the state governments if it wasn't specifically given to the national government in Article 1, Section 8. So those are the reserved powers, powers that belong to the states. So what are some examples of reserved powers that are given to the states because of the 10th Amendment? So anything involving licenses is the state responsibility. Obviously, the national government doesn't give you a driver's license; the state does. So that's a state by state decision. A lot of occupations like requiring you to be licensed, they're all given out by like state government. So anything involving a license is a state government responsibility. Regulating the elections, like you're seeing that in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election, is that every state sort of runs its own election, right? So this is a power that belongs to the state governments, is regulating like sort of like stuff going on with elections. And then another prefix, intrastate commerce, INTRA, right, means within. So any economic activity that just involves your own state is like the state government's responsibility. Like so, for example, like setting minimum wage, right? Pennsylvania can't set a minimum wage for another state; it can only set minimum wage for within its own state. So the national government does interstate commerce, any economic activity between the states, and state governments are responsible for intrastate commerce, which is sort of like economic activity within its own state only. So again, if it's not written down in Article 1, Section 8, because of the wording of the 10th Amendment, the powers were automatically reserved to the state governments.